In today's video, I'll discuss my team update as of February 10. So yeah, excited to share this team. Usually around this time of year in February, I get probably a bit too experimental with my teams, and when I look back at my old February teams in previous years, probably weren't the best teams, probably overthinking things. Hopefully I can manage myself a bit better and spend a little bit less time so I don't overthink things for fantasy, or Supercoach, but can't help it at the moment. But yeah, we'll see how we go over the next few weeks. A few pods in this team. Some of the pods I discuss that I'm considering or that are in my team, I do fairly extensive write-ups on the Fantasy Take TV Facebook page. So there you will only find them on the Facebook page. So yeah, would love the support if you like the page. Hopefully get that page to 1,000 likes before round one. But yeah, thanks to everyone who has been commenting and liking on our Facebook page. So very much appreciate that. So yeah, we'll get stuck into the team. So yeah, keen for you guys to see this one. So yeah, I'll reveal the team after zoomed in at the moment, but 5 premium defenders. You're probably thinking, what the hell is Pat Lipinski doing there? I sent this team to the Discord, and they said back, Jordan, stop sending us troll teams, send us your real team. And I said, no, this is my real team. And they're like, okay. And they laughed. But this is what I'm thinking. On the defender rookies, we'll see how they go over the preseason. We don't have a lot of certainty of the rookies. See how they progress over the next few weeks. But I'm a little concerned at the moment. Not a whole lot of them I like, and a few of them I don't mind. It's just I don't know how they break into the 22. For example, Gary McDonough, I don't know how he plays, how he fits into that defense at Essendon. Maybe they throw him at half forward or something, but yeah, stuff like that. So just knock the rookies out the way. Skinner I like, but needs to win his spot. So a bit of competition. Kemp seems okay. Not too sure on his scoring power coming off the ACL. I played a little bit of footy last year, so seems to have a roll down back, but competition from McGovern and I think probably Marchbank as well. And then O'Driscoll, I think he plays, but at some stage, but I don't know if it's round 1. So we'll look at not much point going too in depth about the rookies, but yeah. So before we get into the midfield and specifically Lipinski, so the defense, Lloyd and Hall, happy to pick both. Lloyd I don't mind not picking, but for now he's in. Ridley and Shaw both have a little bit of upside. Both have never gone 100 average. However, you would think Ridley has upside with Jake Kelly. They want Ridley to be freed more. That's what part of the reason why Kelly was recruited, I assume. Maybe, I'm not sure, but yeah, Kelly's he's a solid one-on-one backman down there, so he will do some good lockdown jobs for them. And Jaden Shaw without Hooley clearly scored better without Hooley, so one would think that happens again. And ultra durable as well, which is kind of nice, and probably the only Richmond player I'll have for the season if I do pick short. And then Lockie Whitfield, still his ownership's high, his upside is pretty good or really good. Defender mid status is pretty awesome as well. That can help with a few upgrades and downgrades. Just remember how good Laird was last year. And then he's quite cheap. He's 35k less than Ridley and Shaw, so that's a bonus as well. So I think I'm prepared to take the durability risk because of all those other factors. But yeah, still wouldn't be surprised if he cost me a trade. So yeah, one I don't have an issue if you don't want to pick him, but one where I think I'll take the risk. But yeah, I'm very much more lenient on contact injuries, whereas soft tissue injuries scare me off pretty badly. So yeah, Whitfield, no soft tissue history. So the midfield, we have McRae and Steele, probably 2 favourite mids. So lock them in. They won't move. Hopefully Bevo keeps McRae in the midfield. I think he will. Just the one game he took him out happened to be the grand final. Only had 50% CBAs. Fingers crossed that he keeps him in the middle for the entire year, which I think he will. So, and then Jack Steele, McRae and Steele, captain, vice captain and captain, pretty much in the back half of last year, pretty much almost exclusively used those two as captains. So yeah, big fan of McRae and Steele. I'll lock them in. And then Lockie Neal. Last year we heard nothing but a bit of I guess not much was said on Lachie Neale in the preseason, and nothing positive came from his preseason really. This year it's all positive, although Brisbane are hyping their players a lot. So for his price, I'm prepared to take, I guess you could say, durability risk, but it's only been 1 year really, a bit of a strange one. So I guess maybe it's a one-off, I don't know. Hopefully no more calf issues with Neale, but I think you just kind of have to pick him at this point given what we're hearing. So Pat Lip in the midfield. Why, George, are you doing this? You do all this research and you go and put a 350k midfielder in your team. You only have 3 mids, and I had a bit of debate with people on Twitter today. People saying you have to go 4 mids, they're so hard to get in, but I think it's important to acknowledge, I went 4 mids last year. It was fine, and it is tough to get the big dog mids in, but I started with a few dud rookies down back. I think I had Highmore. Highmore came back eventually after holding him for 10 weeks. I don't think I can, given COVID outs, I really don't want to risk dodgy rookies on the bench because it just puts the bench under a lot of pressure. Just avoided Harry Sharp at the last second by DMing AFL Draft Expert, spamming like, should I pick Harry Sharp? Should I pick Harry Sharp? Thanks to him, he said no, and fortunately he got that one right. Otherwise would have had another dud rookie down back. So yeah, it's pretty tough to pick the rooks, or it will be tough with if rookies have bad job security. With COVID outs as well, it will put the bench under pressure. So I think the better rookies are in the midfield, and it just worked out at 350k and put Lipinski in. So speaking about Pat Lipinski, in 2020, he had 19% CBAs, averaged in the low 80s. With 19% CBAs. His 2021 VFL form in 4 games, 156 average. And I think it was about 120 fantasy. So put that in perspective, Braden Fiorini I think he averaged about 101 at AFL level. And in the VFL averaged around the same in fantasy as Lipinski. So about 120 average in fantasy, they both went. And yeah, it seemed to convert okay into AFL level. Yeah, Fiorini with a 101 average. And I think he was only getting about 50% CBAs as well in a Gold Coast team. So it's hard to measure VFL form, but at least at AFL level, still sharing with all those dogs mids, 19% CBAs. This was 2 years ago as well. Low 80s average. So I think he'll get 70 to 80% CBAs. Sounds like he's having a great preseason as well. So he needs to pass the eye test in the preseason. So when I look at Lipinski, I think I'm probably a little bit slow off the mark compared to some other mids, and contested game isn't really spoken highly about, but his contested numbers were good, but that was at VFL level. So that's 2 things I want to see, but huge endurance, huge work ethic, huge work rate, most importantly, from the Dogs midfield. Dogs mids DNA. So I think he can go, it wouldn't surprise me if he goes 105 plus. I think he can do it. So for that price, I think I'm okay with that. Has the last buy as well, where it can be flipped then. So look, I'm very excited to see Pat Lipinski. Only hearing massively great things about him at training. I take him over Rao, take him over Shield quite comfortably. So we'll see how that works out. And yeah, I will do a bit more discussion on Lipinski on the Facebook page in the coming days. So the next one is Horn Francis. Used to be Finn McRae. I still love Finn McRae. I'm going to watch him, and definitely he's still in contention for my team. From what I read, played mostly wing in a match simulation the other day, and looks like with DeGoey coming back, Lipinski playing really well in preseason. I'm not sure he gets the mid minutes I thought he was going to get, but still really keen to see how he goes in the preseason games. Scored okay when given midfield minutes last year, just didn't get a whole lot of it. And next player I have, or I should speak about Horn Francis. Horn Francis and Dacos, I think you just lock them in. I don't really want to speak too much on them, but Horn Francis apparently beating Jai Simpkin and LDU at training at clearance, so that's enough for me to lock him in. And now the rookies here. So look, I like Dylan Stevens. He's 160k on the bench at the moment. He should get opportunity. Sounds like he's working really, really hard at preseason for the coach to, or he's been a standout, or for single him out at training. So look, the role was there with Dawson gone. See how he goes. Was a high pick, and only had about, I think it was like 50% time on ground last year. So might have been sub affected as well. So we'll see how he goes in the preseason. And then on field, Greg Clark and Sitsas. Sounds like a Greek name. So look, both Sitsas scored really well. I think it was for Woodville West Torrens, I think. And then in the SNFL, might be wrong there. And Greg Clark scored really well in the Waffle. So mature ages might get some mid opportunity. See how they go in the preseason. But if these players are named round 1, I want them on field. So take these guys over most 18-year-olds any day of the week. And then the other two, I have Cooper Stevens. Not sure if he's any good or not, to be honest, but heard some good things about him. Mature age, high pick, first round pick, and has had injuries the past 2 years, but having a great preseason, so it might be his time. And Connor McDonald from Hawthorn. I think his numbers in the NAB League were the second best. First was Nick Dacos, and impressing at training for Hawthorn. So chuck him on the bench for now. And then the rucks, Darcy Grundy. I just did a video on the ruck line, so probably better to watch that for my explanation on those picks. Excuse me, but long story short, probably going to lock these two in, and then if something happens to Darcy, switch him to Gawn, and then we'll trade him to Gawn during the year. But yeah, if we don't get Darcy, if something happens to him in the preseason, I don't know what we'll do. I'll be on the phones to JD and NA trying to figure something out. So, and then Comben, I think he plays round 1. So that's the ruck line. And then the forward line I guess Kerno F5 is kind of deep-ish. So Dunkley F1, don't need to say anymore. Isaac Heaney F2, Idri Mahini. He's playing midfield this year. Longmire said Callum Mills was playing midfield last year after, I don't know how many years at halfback. Mills played midfield. Heaney said he's still going to play a bit forward, but he's, for the most part, will play midfield. And I believe it because they're trying to transition JPK out the midfield. George Hewitt is gone. He played big midfield minutes towards the in the finals or the last few rounds. I think they need him in the midfield. And Mills, I didn't even realise he might not even play round 1 apparently. So put him in my top 8 mids. But yes, still love Callum Mills, but a bit concerning. Still not fully over the injuries or the Achilles issue. So see how that goes. But yeah, Isaac Heaney, he plays, he scores. He plays forward, he still scores 90. So the other players are DeGoey. Don't know what his role is. Don't know if he's a part of Collingwood's future beyond this year, but it sounds like they said they're all in on DeGoey, so that's whatever. And DeGoey's durability is not that great either. But did score well in his role last year in the midfield, but just see, I know he's playing a bit forward at training and midfield, so maybe he does both. Does that bring his average down a bit? See how he goes in the preseason. Zach Butters, I mean, his durability is no better than Heaney, really, but hearing a few good things on Butters, mostly in January, heard a few good things, so see if we hear a few more things. And then the other one is Taron Thomas. So I quite like Thomas, just I prefer Heaney, that's all. Heaney's a bit more proven, that's about it. So yeah, probably only want to run one of these guys because of the DPP changes. See if we get, a few ruckmen might get forward status, stuff like that. The next one is Kadeem Coleman. Also have a write-up on him on the Facebook page. For the most part, so if you've listened to any of Mitch Robinson's podcasts, his last 2 podcasts, he's pumped up Kadeem Coleman. Says he's the player he thinks will most likely to break out at Brisbane, and says he's increased work rate, which is perfect. Doing a lot of dashing off halfback for them. So work rate is one of the biggest factors for me when picking a certain player. Again, Lipinski, huge work rate. Coleman sounds like he's improved work rate, but I need to see it over the preseason games. Cogs is basically a lock. Worth noting, if you don't know Kadeem Coleman, moving to halfback, scored okay in the final series, and big preseason. Cogs, just lock him in, having a good preseason. Kerno, great job security, high ceiling. Might have some dud games as well, but it's important to know when he has the dud games, just hold him until he's ready to, 350k plus, or whenever you feel the need to upgrade him. So expecting somewhere in the 70s average for him. So see how he goes. Having a great preseason. And the forward rookie is pretty concerning. Hollands, I'm not sure, is round 1. Will play round 1. Definitely will get games throughout the year, but is he in the round 1 team? Not sure. Could be a sub. Hopefully not, though. Don't want to debut him on the sub, but yeah, I love Hollands as a player. Excited to watch him. De Koning is going to be a terrible rookie. It's just he has DPP and was playing in the B team at training for Geelong, so that is not good. But yeah, thought he was going to have good job security, but we'll see how that goes. And then Francis Evans, I think he might take Mize' spot, although from what I've read, Francis probably, Evans, should call him Evans, might push up the ground a little bit, plays more half forwardish from what I've read. I'm not 100% sure though, so been in the system a few years now, was a surprise pick for Geelong, and yeah, was playing in the A team at their training, so not expecting big things for him, but nonetheless one where he's playing in the A team, so maybe he plays round 1. Oops. So yeah, that is the team. Let me know what you think. With the structure, there's probably, I'd love to run 4 mid primos, but I think I want Juan Francis Dacos and Clark and Sitses. I want these guys on the field if they play. Even like these guys, you could probably field as well. So it's a bit of a balancing act. But yeah, when people tell me, oh, you have to run 4 mids, you have to run 5 mids, I think it's worth acknowledging what the defender and forward rookies look like, especially on field, and especially this year when we're going to have COVID out. So hopefully we get some decent rookies down back and up forward. If we don't, I'll run 3 mids. So anyway, thanks for watching the video, and we'll see you guys soon.